Hello, hello. Musty Hobbit here, and it's Tuesday, so it is time for the Cartridge Club Hangout. And this has been an interesting stretch of a week. Not only am I nursing this cold, so I got a little bit of nasal sound in here. This room looks nothing like it used to, and it is actually quite shocking when you see it. All of my stuff is out. We are down to a couple pieces of furniture, and I still have the computer desk and the big TV and things like that. But it is barren. And my realtor came through today. She thinks it's great. It's exactly what I need to be to get this place sold. But yeah, it's exciting times. I'm about to send out our little invite. I know that sometimes I forget people on this, so I hope I didn't forget anybody. And if I did, don't worry about it. Click on the invite. Come join us. Tweeting out now. Hopefully there's some people who want to jump in and talk today. March 6th. And what else is big? What else is going on? Let me show you the room, actually. Oh, okay, so I'm going to pick up this camera here. Hopefully this doesn't shake you too much. So normally where I would film, where I used to, where I would film, the wall that I used to film now and Second Breakfast, this was the wall that was behind that. Into this corner here was that big bookshelf that I had that had like Final Fantasy stuff and magazines and things like that. The computer desk is over there now, and then we got the big TV set up here. But then this is the other side of the room. It is just vacant. I'm using the table that's going to go by that recliner chair, but that used to be that was the wall back when I first started to do the videos down here, which was quite a while ago. In fact, it was the beginning of 2017 that I moved down here. I think that sounds about right. But yeah, it's been a lot of work. It's the carpet guy came today, so we got a bunch of fans going upstairs. I don't know if that's gonna come through at all. If it does, whatever. It'll be fine. But we're going to list as early as this weekend. So that's pretty exciting. Actually, we're going to list on Friday. That's the plan. We signed papers today to do that. But yes, it'll be interesting. I'll have an episode of Now that I'll need to film on Sunday, and depending on if we have showings or what, I kind of need to be at a moment's notice, able to just up and leave. And so we'll have to play all that by ear. Let me get some people added into here. Show in broadcast. Hello, Fitnat. Hello, Bass Guy.
Hello.
How's it going?
Okay.
You're going to be able to put that controller back together, are you?
Yeah, I think I lost the screw.
Yes, I hope that was an interesting little turn of events, I think.
Yeah.
But
stuff happens, but it's good that they responded so quickly about it.
Yeah, I mean, all it probably took was them doing a check on their own inventory and going, "Whoops." Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but there's that one review out there that Metal Jesus reposted. What was his name?
RGT5, not that guy.
No, it was Mighty Little Pixel or something like that.
Oh yeah, I think it's playing Wave Race or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, he discovered something where actual gameplay is impeded by this. So, despite Metal Jesus's impression, based off his testing stuff, that said that it wasn't unpressing the trigger, it did have a gameplay impact on them. And Mars, yes, I do have a cold. We're gonna muscle through this as best we can. It's like that time I was on. Didn't I have a cold when I was on Fandango? Oh, so long ago. When are you guys gonna start having more guests, Kevin?
Also, for context of anyone that hasn't seen the Retro Fighters controller thing or is watching the archive and hasn't seen it, it's there's an issue with the left analog stick hitting, like the gate of it is too close to the left analog stick or the left analog stick, left trigger button, the top button, whatever that one is, not the front one, not the trigger. Terms are confusing. Anyway, that one has a little bit too much plastic or it's too close. Either way, they hit each other. That's the thing.
Yeah, so what and the person who discovered this, at least the first person to say something about it, was our own It's Rocket Sauce. There are timestamps on all of that, which is great. So good on him. I would expect the N64 enthusiast to be the one to discover something like that. So.
If anyone's going to discover something wrong with an N64 controller, it's going to be him.
Yeah. But then, Chris, you went and tore yours apart.
Yeah, I figured it would be something simple, so I just figured something simple mechanical, so I just took it apart. But yeah, because you can kind of look at it and see it's pretty close together. Mm-hmm. But they probably just needed to, I guess, shave off a little bit of plastic from either the base of the analog stick or shave off some part of the L trigger or L shoulder button. But yeah, it feels like a $20 controller. I mean, you kind of get what you pay for, really, with this thing.
Yeah. So. Well, I mean, it's good that it got surfaced now and not, after they can at least try to fix it at this point.
Yeah, I guess they're going to send out replacement L buttons for people that want to replace it themselves.
I think they're either going to come up with that as an option, or I guess they're weighing all that right now.
Yeah, probably give people the option to send it back in for repair or replacement, but they might have to, just by way of it being a Kickstarter project and them not having that much money probably for it to go out of pocket, probably at the expense for shipping of the customer, because they can just ship out the L button for free, or they can have someone pay to send it in.
See, I would think what they would want to do is get those that aren't like this first print run, run back and refurbish them. To me, it would almost make sense for them to send the replacement, have us then send back ours, and then refurbish that with the new, a new trigger, and then you can sell that at a premium, which or not at a premium. You can sell that at a minor, maybe a bit of a discount to get some of that, recoup some of the cost. While at the same time you get, you get your chance to clean up the public sentiment. At least they've handled that well. That's been a really good thing so far, because they didn't turn around and say, "Oh, it's not us," or "Oh, it's just a small batch." It seems like it's everybody.
Hello?
It's clearly a design flaw. Hello.
Hey,
this is Agent Poyo, Serge, Rostetio. Yeah.
How's it going?
Good. What's up?
We were discussing Ryan's discovery.
Your voice is very deep.
I have a cold. I have a cold right now too.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's say bring out the suave, voice.
Yeah, the other morning I woke up and I sounded like Tone Loc.
Hmm.
The funky comedia.
Funky cold
wow.
Medina.
Wow thing.
Oops.
But yeah. So Ryan, how's your claim to fame been going so far for you?
You know, I feel like the guys who worked for, like, I think it was the Washington Post that exposed Watergate. That's what I feel like. I think I know how they feel. So because man, everyone was rushing out to get that review, say, hey, this is the best controller ever for the N64. Like, if you look at YouTube and look at the reviews, there's like a dime a dozen. This is the best ever. This is the best ever. This is the best ever.
What's the problem with it? There's a problem with it, or what?
Oh, the main one. There's little things I like that I can think of too, but I'm saving it for my review. I'm actually writing a review at the moment for it. But the major one is that there's a left shoulder button issue that if you run it, it's too close to the analog stick. So once you're going either 9 to 12 or 12 to 9, if you're thinking clockwise, it bumps against that shoulder button. So ultimately, it throws it off pace, if you will. So now, granted, most games don't use the shoulder button that much. I've been doing I've tested at least 20 games, but I've found, well, now with the what's his name? Was it Little Mad Polly? I can't remember his name. Who discovered the wave race issue this morning. My issue is I saw it with GoldenEye. That when I used the left bumper to trigger the crosshairs, it threw off the crosshairs because I bumped it alongst the L button, so you lost your input. Mm-hmm. So so essentially the first time I did it, I thought I broke the controller because there was a large pop. Actually, it was like, I'm like, whoa, and then like the button kind of even caved in a little bit, and I let go, and it came back and felt fine. And then I did it again a little bit later on when I was testing out some more. So that was like my first key to sign, and I was gonna film it actually Saturday night because I was doing a lot of the testing Saturday, but I figured to wait for probably sunlight on Sunday so I could have better, lighting, if you will, before I film it. So,
and this is a problem that with every controller, or
everyone who I know has experienced this issue. So
basically just with the
people were really looking forward to that controller. That sucks.
Yep. And this plug kind of is cheap. I went to pull it out just now and it pulled apart.
So, really?
Yeah.
The plug fell apart?
Yeah, the housing just went.
I know I saw besides some other complaints about people not saying, if you looked at the Kickstarter comments where people were complaining about the quality, saying like some of the buttons didn't work, like the up and the down on the D-pad didn't work for them. That was an issue for me. I can understand the quality, Chris, because I think I could tell just by touching some of it feels good and some of it feels really cheap on the controller.
Yeah, it feels like it. That $20 controller.
Yeah, it feels kind of like those Hyperkin crap controllers that they release a little bit,
So, and then
So I have a question. Has anyone here bought the Super Retrocade by chance?
I know what you're talking about. I think Kyle has. Kyle has.
Kyle did.
Because I have one, and one controller is on the D-pad a little gimped, and I'm not like a soldering expert, so I don't want to open it up and try to fix it. But I've been trying to find out on eBay. Oh, someone's selling just a good controller for that, because I tried using so many USB controllers and none of them work on my Retrocade.
Really?
So I was curious, and it had any issues. I have one controller where it's perfectly fine. The other one, the D-pad, it doesn't always register the right, and it's so annoying. Especially because with the Retrocade, you can add arcade ROMs to it.
Yeah,
I did that, but it's like, who wants to play 2-player with a GIMP controller? So
So you don't happen to have like the Super Nintendo like USB controller or like something like that?
I do have one, and like they market that you can use other controllers, and from what I've seen, no other controller works for me at least. Yeah.
I also know that I thought someone posted, maybe it was Riggs when he was first talking about it, that I think you might be able to use like a USB arcade stick as well too, but I don't have one, so I can't attest.
Yeah, I don't either, but like what I'm waiting to do, it's like, okay, eventually I'm gonna get so impatient that I'm just gonna buy another retro game. Okay, it's like, okay, I have two controllers now, so it's whatever.
Can't you at least contact them and say, hey, this is crap or what?
I don't know if it's I'm a creature of convenience, and that is not convenient for me dealing with customer service. So I'm just gonna bitch and moan.
I thought you were gonna tell me it's hot. Your coffee's hot or something like that.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm a creature of convenience, so I'll probably just pay for another one eventually. Or eventually, I'll walk into a retro store and they'll be selling just the controller or something. I don't know. I don't care enough to really get upset about it, but it is a downer. So basically, whenever I have people over, it's like if they want to play it, I'll use the Gibbs controller. That way, they can enjoy themselves at least. So that's whatever.
Yoshi looks like he's back in his old state. His old stomping grounds right there.
Oh, yeah.
Spring break?
Yes. Ow. It's too loud.
Oh, by the way, I don't know. This is a new headset. Can you guys hear me mashing buttons or no?
Nope.
Okay, good. I've been playing Mark of the Wolves, Garu, Mark of the Wolves, or Fatal Fury, Mark of the Wolves, but they use both names in the US, which is confusing ever since they brought it to PS4. This is like
a lot.
Yeah, it's really weird. This is like the best SNK fighting game, in my opinion. It's the closest they get to being as good as Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Hey, it's Q-Dog.
Yes.
The Mighty. Oh, come on, that was BS.
The Marvelous.
Okay, that combo didn't go in.
5 minutes, let's go.
Magnanimous.
5 minutes, let's go.
Can you guys hear me?
You bet.
I hope it's not always 5 minutes. I hope in everything. It's like everything you do is in those increments of 5 minutes.
No, not ever. Just Q-Dog. Oh, we got a full house today, boys.
Looks like it.
Just about. Mars is missing out.
Yoshi's here. Sergio, how are you?
I'm good. First time.
Retro. Chris. Wow.
Yeah. This past week has been a first for this, and also I'm not going to say who, but I finally appear on someone's podcast.
Nice.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yep. And then hopefully this Saturday I'll be recording a test / pilot / maybe a first episode of my own podcast I've been trying to brew with my friends who are married, so they have very little time to actually do stuff. It's been a nightmare trying to organize it because I'm the only single one without the wife to hold me back on the schedule. Oh, that was bullshit. The combo did not hit me.
Boogerman.
Boogerman.
I'm just watching the Sega intros. I'm doing my latest episode at the moment.
It's an alright game.
Boogerman one's quite funny. Yeah.
So, how do we see the chat from YouTube from here? Do you have to go to YouTube to see that?
Go to YouTube,
Yeah,
and then you
YouTube.
go. There should be like a 3-dot thing above the chat that says pop up. If you click it, it should say pop out chat, and that should.
And then you can close the YouTube window.
Yep.
That's right. That's right. Dean's in New Zealand, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not fair.
Yep. I caught up with him the other day.
I saw that.
What's the occasion?
That was
The
interesting.
occasion, Dean hadn't been to New Zealand yet, I think.
No, I mean like
That was probably about it.
is it just like a family trip? Is it like or is it like a thing?
No, they're just ticking it off the list.
Mm.
Dean
Yeah,
they,
I think he's just traveling the world.
50 countries before 30.
Yeah, he's
they
just
traveled.
traveled
50 countries, Amanda.
Did you say 50? They've been to 50?
Yeah, Amanda has. Dean hasn't.
Wow.
Yeah. It was quite interesting, actually. We got a lot of travel stories. I thought I'd travel a lot, but then when I talked to Amanda and Dean, I was like, whoa, no, you've traveled a lot. That's good.
Yeah, they've got, I don't know if that's Amanda's Twitter account. Amanda and Dean.
They started
Amanda
a
and
travel
Dean.
blog, yeah.
Yeah, they're posting a lot of their pictures from their previous trips and stuff.
I see you just posted a picture of maybe from a couple hours ago, but visiting Hobbiton.
I know.
In Matamata, that's only like.
I think that's for you,
an hour away. He's getting something for you. Oh shit! I shouldn't have said that.
What?
Sorry. No, I know what it is.
He's not getting you something.
You'll like it. Yeah, he's not. I just completely made that up.
If it's a ring
know
and he
what
tells
I'm
me to
talking
keep
about.
it secret, we're gonna have a problem.
Then nothing arrives. I was like, ooh.
And then he's gonna ask to see it again. Can I see it once more?
Don't tempt me.
I spoke to him about 45 minutes ago. He's in the pub at the moment from The Hobbit.
Which one? What's it called? Is that where they meet?
Hobbiton. Oh, I
No,
don't
but
know.
is it, like, the three? Is it the three horse? What's the pub in the Fellowship that they meet?
Prancing Pony.
The Prancing Pony.
No, it's the other one.
So the
Whatever the other
green
one is.
dragon is the one that Rose works at.
Yeah, I think that's the one they're at.
The one in Hobbiton.
Yeah. You can actually get pissed up there like that. It's a proper working bar.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm jealous.
Yeah, it's like, that town used to be nothing until that was there. It was just a farm.
Not something. I know.
Like it was just like one of those hay bale towns you drive through and there's nothing there, but now it's like packed.
Do they have like everything from the set there, like Bilbo's
Yeah.
house and whatnot?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I know a coworker of mine. She's got, and I've talked to her, and she told me she visited New Zealand a couple of years ago. But like, she's got a picture of her and her husband at like Bilbo's house or something like that, like out in front of it. So
The tree that's on top of the house is fake.
Mhm.
It's made of plastic, and every single one of those leaves was put on by hand.
don't ruin
So
my
it's pretty
imagination.
cool. Like, no, but you can't tell unless they tell you. That's what's so good about it.
That's
So, like,
some
yeah, it's wicked.
mighty fine art majors.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone was the leaf person.
Their whole job was making leaves.
Yeah.
Imagine
Yeah.
getting paid to make leaves.
That's gotta be frustrating, especially if like no one goes to the area where you made the art asset.
You'd be blazed all
Right,
day,
they cut,
Yoshi. Just
they
be
cut
making
all the
leaves.
camera angles that
And if you think about it, they use techniques where it only renders when you're actually looking. So if no one looks, it's never even rendered in the game. So you could spend all that time doing work on that art asset and no one saw it, literally.
Yeah, that's okay. You got paid for it in the end.
Assuming that like you were fairly compensated and didn't like have a horrible experience, yeah. So
Well, that all depends on who you work for.
yeah.
I'm not in the comp sci major. We're into programming, so I don't really know. But I have a feeling I'm going to spend, months or years of my life developing hardware, and then the whole project gets canned. So then you sit there and go, what the hell did I do all that for?
I took one coding class when I was still an engineering major. I almost finished engineering, but I long story short, point is I hate coding. I applaud people that can do it. I can't stand coding. It's a nightmare for me.
That's one of my classes next semester. It can't be that bad. I have to learn it anyway.
I'd rather do like an hour-long calculus 3 problem or engineering mathematics problem than any coding. I can't stand coding.
Math minor.
Yeah.
You want me to solve differential equations? Awesome.
Linear algebra. Yeah.
Because, yeah. English, what's that? Don't worry about that silly subject.
Yeah.
Who needs that?
Oh, well.
Just take all the math.
That was probably the dumbest thing, though, when I changed majors to business years ago, because I took all these advanced engineering math courses, and I still had to take these business courses, even though I took the harder versions of them. It was such nonsense, but it was basically easy A's, but it was wasted
They made you
money.
retake easier versions of math courses.
Because in the engineering school, those were like freshman or sophomore courses. In the business school, those were junior level. It's like, but they were easier subjects. It was so stupid, but it's whatever. I had to basically waste my time.
Couldn't you just test out of them?
In my department,
couldn't you
probably
just
not.
test out of them?
They don't let you do that most of the time. College is like money.
Yeah, it really depends. Some classes I was able to transfer, but those ones they're picky about, they wouldn't let me do it.
Well, you still have to pay for the course. You can just test out right away and not have to go the rest of the year.
No, usually not. They usually want you to sit there and grind through it again. Even if it's all stuff you know. They don't care. They also make you take a bunch of useless crap while you're at college. You know, like general education's point credits. Where you're literally in a class where it's like, I'm going to take a class on the Beatles because it satisfies an arts credit. What the hell are we going to talk about on the Beatles for a 3-credit class for a semester?
My arts credit was art history, and that class was awesome because my teacher was funny and she was hot, and I never had so much fun flirting with the teacher. It was so much fun. She was hot.
That's usually not what happens at my school. You usually get someone that barely speaks English, and you sit there and go, okay, I think I understand what you're saying, so I'm just going to write that down.
I think the only reason why I got an A in Advanced Accounting 2 is because I flirted so much with a teacher. I don't know how I got an A in that class. That class was so hard. But I got it, so that's all that matters.
That's okay. We have a bumper sticker in my department that they made that basically says the limit as your GPA approaches 0 of EE/EET major equals business major.
That's interesting.
Which the funny part of this is the business majors, the ones that are successful, come out making more than the engineers do.
What's funny is that a lot of engineers start engineers and then go to business school. Especially,
this is true. A lot of people
my
go
field. Yeah, I was civil engineering, and then I was like, I'm tired of the mind games. This is too much. And then I switched to business, and I found out that almost all CEs do that. So, interesting.
There's a large group of people in my major that end up getting, when they're done, they go back for engineering management or MBAs or stuff like that. And then they go manage friggin' people. Because apparently management pays better than being an engineer. Go figure.
Yeah, I see how that's structure-wise, just because you're supposed to be able to lead people.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
I'd rather be an engineer.
Lead people to their deaths.
I don't want to be a boss. That's not what I want to do. I'd rather be an engineer, you know, lay out some circuit boards, stuff like that.
I thought you said you're going to be a dancer.
Like a bow.
I want to dance on Broadway. I want to be beautiful. I want to be a star. I want my name on Hollywood Boulevard.
These
What?
are jazz fingers. These
Oh boy.
Spirit fingers.
Spirit fingers. Sorry, it's been a while since I've seen the movie.
Spirit fingers.
I don't even know what we're
These
talking
are
about,
spirit
so
fingers.
These are
let's
gold.
quit being stupid. It's all
You're
laggy.
late again to my dance recital, Daddy. You didn't turn up again.
Oh
now I'm
boy.
dancing in the clubs.
Oh boy.
So when's the modcast coming back? Since we have two of the members that are here from the modcast.
No idea.
I don't know. When he gets some time.
Well, he's off this week. Let's get
Yeah,
him on, guys.
no.
Come on,
Yeah.
chop chop.
I got enough crap
Yeah,
to do
Dean,
this
I-
week that I haven't started yet.
Dean asked me about it today as well.
I think
You know how
Ben-
many of my professors understand what the term break means?
I think Ben's too obsessed with school anyway. For that.
Two of my professors understand what the term break means. The rest of them, here's homework, here's homework, here's homework, here's homework.
That's because they're professors.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I wake up, what was it? Sunday morning or Monday morning and check my email and they're like,
didn't.
another professor's like,
You didn't
"Oh,
wake
I
up. You
updated
crawled out of bed.
homework for the next chapter. And I'm like, really?
Come on.
Like I wanted to do another 20 to 30 physics problems on break.
Yeah. The guy wearing
you do.
$500
No, I
suit
don't.
is gonna tell me what to do. Come on.
I got you, Ryan.
Thank you.
What?
Yep, I figured Yoshi.
I don't get any references. It's kind of weird. People make movie references in
$1,500
class.
suit. Come on.
I would
Come
spend that
on.
much on a suit.
My brother and I basically speak in only movie references to each other. And
Well,
TV show.
I mean, Eric doesn't want to spend $800 on a Star Wars kid.
Well, even if I
It
wanted
is.
to, it doesn't matter now because they're gone.
Is it really hard to get this Lego set or something? Or?
Yeah.
So they
That's not
sell out
really hard.
immediately.
What Lego set is it? Exactly.
The deluxe, the super high-end Millennium Falcon, the $800
I want
Millennium
some
Falcon.
taquitos.
It's like 8,000 pieces or something like that.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
high end because it has like a real space and like you actually put like people in it and everything, or what? Why is it like special? Exactly.
I don't know. It's their biggest kit they've ever made. It's like Musty said, it's 8,000 pieces. It's $800. It's
And it's Lego.
You know,
2 feet by 3 feet.
Jeez.
It's $800 for a bunch of Legos that will sit in a box because you'll be too scared to open them because you just paid $800 for it.
Now these I would definitely open.
Open and put
Would
the
you-
whole thing together,
Well, it's like a 40-hour task to put it together, so chances are
or
it would
more.
take me a year.
Would you
Make
break
it
out the
family
crackle
bonding
on that?
time.
No crackle.
No craggle?
No, I don't do that. That's awful. Sorry, I don't glue Legos together.
Yeah, only villains do that.
Oh, that's what Craggle is. I'm like, what is Craggle? I thought it was
I
like
think-
some snack.
I think once in my life
You're
I
gonna-
saw one piece glued to something else, but that was not me. I was not much of a Lego kid, but some kid in my neighborhood did.
Yeah, I never glued Legos together. I thought that was evil.
I never
There's some
glued
other
them together,
kids that
but I
did.
would mix and match sets because
Yes. That ends up being hilarious.
Oh, I think all my Lego sets just got thrown in a tub.
Yep. That's generally what happens to them. They all get mixed together,
Oh, that's crap.
and then you never figure out how to put them back together what they're supposed to be again.
am I the only one that tried to make their own Transformers out of Lego?
No, my brothers and I did that all the time. We
I
used
didn't
to
do
buy.
that.
We used to buy specific kits for hinges that we could use to make
Yeah.
Transformers.
Yeah, it was You were always after the sets that had the whole bunch of hinge joints.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm impressed. I didn't know of any other people who did that. So glad to know it wasn't us.
We did that over here.
And it was like you're always trying to make the transformers that aren't like parts formers that you don't have to like take parts off and put them back on in another configuration. You're trying to make it all work as like a transformer. And then the actual Transformer Lego sets came out, and it was so disappointing.
Yeah. Trey joined us. Hey, Trey.
Hey.
Hey, the after party.
Hunt down a Thunderjaw.
Lighting going on here. Mom, my
The
phone's
famous collector.
Is this the new room?
I wish this were my game room. This is just the living room. My game room is being slept in right now.
Get out.
That game room goes with me. Yay. Oh, I finally bought another Switch game.
Nice. Which one?
Knights of Azure 2. It's currently for sale on Amazon for $30. I was standing in GameStop today holding a copy that was pre-owned for $54 or something, $55. And I'm looking at my phone on Amazon and it says it's brand new, 30, get it in 2 days for Amazon Prime thingy for 30. And I'm like, who in the right mind would pay $25 to have it today?
Today?
Yeah, I could have had it today. But I'm like, no, I will put this back and just order it off the internet.
So, in order to take a break from your waifu game, you got another waifu game.
I was waiting.
It's like you got the only other waifu game other than like the what's that other one? The terrible fighting game.
What, Toho?
Yeah, the Toho game.
See, that makes me sad. They don't bring over the good Toho games with the console. You know what they bring over? The crap.
Yeah, and they give
bring over the crap. They don't give us the bullet hells that are really, really good. They give us all the crap spin-offs. And I just sit here because this would be an awesome console for like shooters, because you could just like disconnect the Joy-Cons, put the thing this way, and then there's your vertical scrolling shooter.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I think they already did that with a couple games though.
But seriously, it's like your third game is going to be like Fate Extella or something.
Actually, I've been meaning to pick up Doom, but it's kind of hard to convince myself to spend $60 on something I could easily get for $20 on my PC.
Yeah, the question is your PC, whether it will run it or whether you'll play it on there.
It'll run it. I probably would never play it on there, though.
Yeah, that's the factor. It'll go down.
Next year sometime, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, I would say probably this year.
Wait a couple months.
I think I've already seen it on sale, but Canadian prices, so it wouldn't be
well,
much of a
see.
sale.
Bethesda's gonna wanna clear shelf space for their stuff this year.
Yeah.
So they'll want Doom to start trickling down.
Oh yeah, I think Owlboy came out. Anyone interested in that?
I think Dean was looking forward to it on Switch, I think.
Yeah, that seems like a really good Switch game. Even though I got it on the PC and Mac a few months ago on a Humble Bundle. But I just figure that's one of those ones where no one's going to pay attention to it until it's on a Nintendo platform, and then it's going to blow up.
Yeah. Actually, I've seen a lot of people complaining about some things about the Switch recently, and I understand their complaints. But then I also rebuttal with, it's a $300 handheld console that's more complicated than the other two consoles as far as like the engineering of it goes. And it's a $300 handheld console.
Yeah.
It's not going to look as pretty as your PS4 games. It's not going to look as pretty as your PC games. I don't know what it looks like on a 4K TV, but it looks okay on an older 1080p screen.
Yeah.
So it's like, and as far as build quality goes,
complain about.
Yeah, complain about something.
If it's on the internet, they'll find a way to complain.
I mean, there are legitimate complaints about the Switch, but some of them might not be legitimate.
A lot of them aren't really that legitimate, I think. I mean, yeah, it does have some, like, construction issues. Yeah, they should have put a glass screen on the front of it, but that's easily fixed. For $10, you know, spend $10, get a glass screen protector. Oh, well.
But then the kids won't scratch it, and then you won't have to sell more.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just running around fighting unique monsters again. This game doesn't end.
Did it sell well? I don't know if that one sold well.
What, Xenoblade 2?
It's a Switch game. It sold well.
I haven't started it yet. I'm still
Xenoblade 2?
Hours. Yeah, because in March, this month, Ni no Kuni 2 comes out, and then the month after that, God of War comes out. So I'm like, how can I possibly fit Xenoblade 2 or Persona 5? I still need to play both of them. So those are both like 100-hour RPGs without even trying to be.
Hey, let me just put it this way: Xenoblade 2 could easily be a 200 to 300-hour RPG.
Yeah, but like minimum is like 180. So.
No, minimum, you could get through the game in about 100 hours if you really, really push through it and skip all the side questing and don't really care about collecting all the different blades. Which, by the way, that's my biggest gripe with the game, is collecting all the blades. Because it's kind of a complete lottery system. As in, you, like, collect core crystals, and then you go to, like, fuse with the blades, and you have no idea what the hell you're going to get. So you can only... Yeah, it's like, kind of, but not quite as bad, but it's still. So you can't really choose which characters get which blades most of the time. So it's kind of like potluck.
Yeah, I've been following the reception with the game, and it feels like true fans of the game like it. People who hate anime tropes don't like how it's more anime-y, more Tales-like in terms of the characters and the voice acting, the style. So I don't know. I haven't played the other ones because I don't have a Wii or a Wii U, so I don't know. I just figured. I think I got it for my birthday, so I didn't pay for it. So it's like whatever. I'll ask for it from my brother or someone, and then that way I don't feel guilty if I don't play it. But I still feel guilty.
I'm on the end of not liking the anime tropes. But that's mostly because I watch a ton of animes, so I am so done with all those tropes for the most part.
Yeah.
It's like I can just tell they're kind of... It feels cheap, really. Like, the character designs are ridiculous.
They were designed by a hentai artist.
Yeah.
What? Xenoblade 2's characters? I like some of the designs. Some of them are just kind of why.
Yeah, you know what you're getting into. You know what, as soon as you see Pyra, you know what you're getting into with that game.
Hey, Pyra's an awesome character.
That doesn't really matter. The way they designed her, it's like it's ridiculous. It's a good thing that she's not a bad character, but that design is just kind of terrible.
I don't think so. I like her design.
Yeah,
I bet you do.
I don't fully understand. Like, yes, she has pretty decent sized breasts, but like she doesn't have like humongous breasts. So I'm confused. The controversy is with her design because She is voluptuous, but she's not like she's not like a character from Dragon's Crown. That wizard character, you know.
Yeah,
So,
Dragon's Crown is the.
Like, I'm not defending someone who's offended by it, but I'm just saying it's like
I'm not
but she's so
offended by it.
covered
It's
up.
just really kind of dumb.
That's not that dumb looking.
I just feel like people would react that way normally if she had a bigger breast than she actually does. Like, she doesn't have big breasts, really.
Actually quite good.
Breasts, exquisite breasts.
They actually do a good job with a lot of the character development in this game, though. I don't like all the characters, but there's a lot of them that I do like.
Let's see. Either way, it just kind of turned me off. The designs and just the entire aesthetic of the game, really.
Let's see. I think I'm gonna have to cut out here. Have to get up early.
Okay.
Bye, Chris.
All right, see you later.
Bye, Chris.
Really quick.
See ya.
No. Bye.
Gotta go find Confiscator Jimmy.
I gotta go
There
eat
you
dinner.
go.
Yep.
Ryan, check the screen out.
What's up?
It's the latest one I'm working on.
Oh, make Yoshi jealous.
No, he's in it. Oh,
Ah.
shit, I wasn't supposed to say that.
You're just
I'm not in
dropping
any-
spoilers all day long here.
Don't know what he's talking about. I haven't filmed anything.
Yoshi's doing videos again. Yay.
Yeah, no.
Maybe he meant the actual Yoshi from Mario. So
No, the one
Yeah.
that's in this room.
The one there with all the paraphernalia behind him.
Mm-hmm.
It looks
What
like you're rolling a
paraphernalia?
spliff. Am I the only one who thinks that?
What?
Instead of playing a Switch, you could like make it like all these
Really?
assumptions of what you're doing with your hands. Yeah.
I'm actually
It would be,
playing Mighty
but-
Number 9 because of the PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, I saw that.
it's-
It's one of the games.
Oh god, it's not very good, and I am doing so bad on the Pyro stage.
I think I bought the
The
Wii U
first
version
one.
for like $8. They wanted to charge me more. I got them to charge me less.
I don't think you can be charged less than free, so I think I won that.
Yes, but meh.
There are so many cheap hits in this game; it's insane.
So it's worse than a Mega Man game?
Yeah, I think that
A
pretty
bad
much
Mega
does it.
Man game.
Yeah, I think I'm done with that.
Is it that bad, that Mighty Number 9 game?
It's just cheap. Like, it's just, from what I've played, it's just you get hit by everything, regardless of what you do. It seems like. Maybe I'm just terrible, but they space all these, like, fireballs and everything in the fire stage. So it's like, there's collapsing platforms, so you have to boost. There's no, like, wall grip or wall jumping at all. So you have to...
Sounds like a shit game.
It kind of is.
but there's none of that in regular console Mega Man. Only in X.
No, but
you
there's
do that.
better level design and better controls and all that. It just feels like it's not designed well, is the thing.
That doesn't completely surprise me about that game, though.
No. I actually, did anyone see what was the video that Happy Console Gamer put out with Robman? Where he was talking about the whole Mighty Number 9 thing?
A recent one, I mean?
Yeah, what?
The recent one? The most recent one? Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, that was cool. And it was interesting what he said about Recore, where it's like, Mighty
Yeah.
Number 9 does not look like a $3 million game, but Recore does.
Yeah. I thought that was a really interesting point when you brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It makes total sense.
Mighty Number 9 to me looks like a budget title.
Oh, most definitely.
It's totally a budget title that they tricked fans into spending millions of dollars on.
They don't really
they
trick
cashed in
anybody.
on the nostalgia.
We cater to nostalgia, just like Ready Player One.
What sucks is that I like his designs for Red Ash, and that's not going to happen. Looks likely.
Yeah. The thing is, Recore is actually a good game.
Well, actually, the funny thing is, I'm pretty sure this is correct. Technically, Inafune did his job. His company Concept, all they do is create the concept for the game. Hence the name Concept, the whole play on the word. So they technically did their job. It's the actual developers who didn't do the job, right?
Yeah, what was the other company that he did for the actual development? Or it's Inti Creates. Right?
Inti Creates is the developer, but his company Concept, all they do is come up with the design for the game, like the art style and everything, but like the characters and whatnot. So technically, he did his job, but everyone sees his face on the game, thinks that he also developed it, but he actually didn't. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Someone correct me. It's fine. I'm pretty sure that's right.
Best of your knowledge, that's what you've heard about it or think about it.
Yeah, I recall reading something about that. So.
Yeah, but Inti Creates actually has made good games since then, which is the weirdest part.
Like which is also weird because they made 9 and 10, right? And those were like well received.
I'm actually not sure about that, but that could just be a gap in my knowledge about it. But they did Blaster Master Zero. They did the Gunvolt games, right?
Mega Man ZX.
Well, 9 and 10 are really good games. 9, I think, was better received than 10.
So it really does sound like. I didn't mean to get like the whole Mighty Number 9 thing going, but this works. So it does seem like a management and budgetary mix-up with Mighty Number 9. Like they didn't have the money, or the money kept getting taken away and put into something else, maybe. Mm-hmm. And maybe Inafune was collaborating on the game with design and all that, and like direction of some sort, and he wasn't fulfilling his job there, or he kept changing things or cheapening out. Something clearly happened with it. It's going to be very interesting when like all the details come out years later.
Mm-hmm.
When people aren't so like pissed off about it still.
No, more like when people are willing to talk about the game. Like people on the development end are willing to talk about the game, and there's not like legal ramifications for speaking about it, or they're willing to do it anonymously.
With it.
It's pretty interesting too because there's 2 times where I really wanted to back a Kickstarter. The first was Shuffle Knight, but I found out about Shuffle Knight after the Kickstarter just ended, basically. So I was like, oh wow, perfect timing. And then Mighty Number 9, I was in between jobs. I was like, you know what? I am not going to blow the cash on this. It's just the case. So, but I almost did though.
That's not a credit I expected on the Indie Creates page. Apparently, they made the Power Rangers Samurai game on the DS and Wii. Huh? What was that, Jared?
Noteworthy games, those two.
Well, every now and then, studios got to do jobs to fund their own projects, I guess.
Yeah, Mega Man Zero they did. That was one of the earlier ones. They did Battle Chip Challenge.
ZX.
Yeah, the Zero series in general. That.
Oh, this okay.
ZX and ZX Advent were the latter 2 of those. And they did do Mega Man 9 and 10.
See, in 10, I like that you can play as Proto Man at least. That's why I love 10 so much. I can play as Proto Man. He is my preferred character in the series.
So yeah, clearly something else is going on rather than them just not doing their job development-wise.
I got a question for PS4 owners that use Hulu. I'm thinking of trying Hulu finally on the PS4. Is the app on PS4 good, or does it crash a lot, or what? Is it bad?
I've never used Hulu on my PS4, so I'm sorry.
I've never used
Canadian,
Hulu.
so I can't help you.
Idea.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I don't even know what Hulu is.
Streaming service for like TV shows.
Basically. What, like Netflix?
Yeah, but for like more modern, like so as soon as it airs on television, you can watch it like immediately on Hulu.
It shows as they come out, depending on what.
You should be able to run it just like a PC. It should be no different.
Oh no, I was wondering like if the app support is good. Like some apps on some devices are better or worse depending on the platform. I was curious.
Yeah, sorry,
PS4. I was wondering if I choose the PS4 or a different device for it if I try it out.
Yeah, kind of like how YouTube is slightly better on PlayStation 4 over Xbox One. At least just the layout wise. I think they updated it on PS4, but not Xbox. There was something with it. But I get wanting to choose the best platform.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, she's got a good shit.
On PS4, YouTube, is there a way to, at least I don't know how, to add to your watch later list on the PS4? Because I can't find it, so I'm always like on my PS4 on YouTube and on my phone saying add to watch later, because I don't know how to do it on the PS4. Is there a way? I'm
actually not sure, but that's something that's bugged me more with removing shows from my watch later rather than adding. But
both things. Yes, both.
Yeah, because you can't. It seems like I'll open it up and see if I can see anything. But
I'm trying to look online. And I never found anything.
Yeah, and I'm hardwired for my laptop, so that's not going to interrupt my signal on this or anything. But you obviously can't like from just hovering over a video. I'm not going to click on anything right now, but yeah, I don't think there's really options for that. Which is irritating. But
yeah, I like using the cast. I like using the casting functions from my phone, so like I can be on my phone searching for things and throw them to the Xbox, or I can throw them straight to my TV. Using that's nice because then I can still comment on the videos in the moment. Whereas if I'm only watching it through the app without using my phone as a vehicle, leaving comments is not possible.
Yeah, it's a few extra steps getting it onto a different device.
Yeah.
It's not ideal. Something they seem to have fixed, though, but this might have just been on Xbox, I don't remember, was for some reason before, when you highlighted the video on the apps, they would hide the length of the video and if you had watched it before. Like the little line at the bottom that tells you if you've watched it or how much you've watched. They would hide how long the video is and if you've watched it, which is like the two things you want to know.
Yeah, that's no good.
Yeah, but that doesn't seem to be doing that anymore. At least on PS4.
Should we do pickups?
We can.
Sure. I don't have any.
I got some stiffs.
Okay, so Ryan will go first, I guess.
Sure. So, everyone, is this the best N64 controller? I think so. I think so. I'm going to bring it to all my friends' house to play the N64 games from now on because it does everything you need. So yeah, I got this piece of garbage in the mail.
Is it actually garbage, or does it just have that issue?
It's fine. I don't know. There's other things I have issues with it. I still say if the original N64 controller doesn't bother you, stick with that one because it's to me still the best controller for that console, even over the Hori controller that's actually uses real Nintendo parts and sent off by Nintendo. I still think the original Nintendo 64 controller is the one to go with.
I think you're the one to go with.
Ayo.
But can make you into a controller.
That can be arranged.
On himself a controller
now with real parts of Ryan.
I know. I saw
Convince Ryan of this.
Contains 5% Ryan.
That mad little pixel guy. He did a teardown today of the inside, and it looks like they used some other mold of the body because apparently there's like if you open it up, there's like little spots for rumble pack features right here. So it seems like they took the shell of something else, just like the start the build of this thing. So I thought that was a little interesting.
China.
Yeah. So this is China. So that's one thing that came in this mail this weekend.
Of course.
And then the other thing I found last Thursday at student discount day at the old thrift store, I found the Ghostbusters Firehouse.
Oh, nice.
The modern Ghostbusters or the old one?
The 1988 cartoon or something. The real Ghostbusters
one.
So yeah, it's got that guy and it's got this little guy. So essentially, the two things that's missing are there's a sign that goes right here with the Ghostbusters logo, and I think there was a purple sticker that goes over here. Other than that, it's and ooze. There was ooze that came with it. But I had this as a kid, so I think so. If you can see the price right there, it says $549. I paid $467 with my discount.
You're an old man, right?
And see, one thing you could do is get this back up here. I don't want to break it. So essentially, is you could put one of the Ghostbusters up here at the top level here, and you lock it in, and then you put them on the device because there's little pegs right there, and you just come on. Because it would ride down the fire pole. So when I was a kid, this was hot shit. This was awesome. So, like, people had Castle Grayskull. This was my Castle Grayskull. So, for $467, I got a little bit of my childhood back. Very happy about it. I remember I used to have. No, this was senior discount. This was student discount, not senior. But, yeah, so that was
my Castle Grayskull with the Micro Machine bases.
That's it. That's it. That's all I have for this week.
Okay. Sorry, I know I do that joke all the time, but I don't think Yoshi was here before, and I know Poyo wasn't. So
that's acceptable for senior discount, not student discount.
I'm still wondering how you get senior discount.
You're not a student anymore.
You know, I did get asked that last week at the same thrift store. Or
Did you graduate yet?
No, the girl who was working the Cartridge there said, "You look a little old to be a student." And I said, I went back to school. I'm sorry, I went back to school. And she's like, "Okay." So
yeah, like, well, yes, thrift shop employee, yes, that's true.
Yeah, you had to have that conversation, and you're still saying that picture wasn't relevant to this.
But
I'm hungry.
But yeah, so I don't know. It's really cool. I was really happy about that.
See, whenever
I just need to get Ecto 1 back, or I still wouldn't mind getting the Trap because I had the Trap too as a kid.
Do you have the figures to go with it?
No, I looked because they had a bunch of bag toys too, and they didn't have anything like there. I did, I wouldn't mind getting them back too, but I'm not a toy collector, and I really don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But if I would find it still at a thrift store or something like that, I probably would pick them up or something. So I have the
rabbit hole
toys.
He doesn't want to end up like Steven with a department full of
exactly.
toys.
Where he's buying he's like shopping every week to go to get the new Transformers, and
yeah,
we're not going there.
That's brutal.
Anyone else have pickups?
I can go.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, I picked up the flu this week.
Put it down.
Oh, excellent.
I definitely have a cold, so I'm fighting that off. Thanks,
That was my
son.
pickup.
I guess
So the
I
first
have
thing
one.
I got was this controller.
Oh, boy.
That should be the title. Is this the best controller?
You get more views.
There you go. There's the thumbnail.
No, you got to put ever. You got to put ever at the end.
Ever.
EVA.
So
Hey, I didn't end up on now. I just realized that. I watched your now and I wasn't on it. Damn it.
You'll be on later.
Did you post? Did you post it to the site?
No. That's why I didn't continue to rant and rave.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, so there you go.
Is this the dumbest member ever?
I picked this up. I haven't had a chance to play it because all my N64 stuff is packed away. So maybe I can send them back a totally untouched Brawler 64 when they come up with whatever replacement option they come up with.
I will say it works well for certain games. It works really well for certain games.
That's good.
But is it the best N64 controller ever?
I'm just gonna stop and say
No.
I was just muting Jared because of all the background noise, but he just unmuted himself. There you go.
I picked up this bad boy.
I was thinking about getting one of those.
It's pretty awesome.
That way I could sit and play the Oregon Trail while waiting for class and have everybody look at me like, what the hell is that thing?
There we go. Now it's on.
I go to school with a bunch of young whippersnappers that don't even know what the Oregon Trail is.
Did they make that so gigantic just for the sake of making it so huge looking?
Yeah.
It's like supposed to mimic an old computer, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to look like the old Apple IIe.
Well, I know LGR took it apart and showed what was inside, and I'm sitting here going, well, this one blob should be a microcontroller / LCD driver, and this other blob's probably the ROM with the game data on it. And the rest is probably amplifiers and power management, etc. So.
Yeah, it's all there.
Is that a Geiger counter?
Hey, those are actually useful. Don't hate on Geiger counters.
Unlike a miniature Oregon trailer, a Geiger counter is actually useful.
Oh, did you know that you likely have a radioactive element in your house? What is it? I can't remember. Oh, Americium.
It's radon. Don't talk about radon.
No, it's Americium. It's a
radon sounds like a transformer. A dino bot.
So if you have a smoke detector in your house, you have Americium in your house, which is basically like the way a smoke detector works is when the smoke particles block the radiation stream, it goes off.
But you probably get more radiation from eating ketchup, so.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, there's also this contraption called a microwave. Yeah, anyway, do you have more
Faraday cage?
I do.
Nintendo Switch.
I'm not done yet. So I actually did picked up a couple Switch games this week because both of them were half price. The first one, I saw this on a Cartwheel, which ended. When did it end? I don't know if it's still active or not, but it was $20 instead of $40, and that's the Gunvolt Striker Pack.
I got that too.
Yep. Cartwheel for the win.
Yep.
And then this one was I saw it sharply discounted for Canada, and then it surprisingly also became sharply discounted in the States at Best Buy. So I went and picked up Mario and Rabbids for half price.
Very nice.
Yeah. And then one last thing was an eBay pickup. One thing I don't need to look for at Midwest Gaming Classic. So normally this goes for about 40. Like current game value now is at like 40. This has a bunch of stickers on it and some writing, and so the guy's listing was about to end, and so I messaged him and said, if you do 25 shipped, I'll take it. And he did. So I have a ugly copy of Wampum.
Oh, nice.
Wampum.
Yeah. And then there's these on the back. I don't know.
A video that helps take that off.
I know. It's these ones and this big strip of tape on the top that I'm shaky on.
I just keep it there. It looks cool.
I mean, that's the other thing is I could just leave it there. Hi, buddy.
If it's that
Builds character, not value.
Tape, I wouldn't mess with it.
Oh, Vinny's out.
I have no idea where this area is.
Glass of water. Okay, keep that away.
Stomach.
I'll just give you a quick privacy mute there.
Is he being too noisy?
Anyway.
I need to shoot, guys.
Okay.
I got to drive an hour.
Bye.
I'll be right back. I have to get this kid a glass of water.
See you later.
See you guys.
See you.
Bye.
See
I
you.
gotta jump because I'm just on my phone, so it's probably gonna die here.
I'll see you for the after party there, Troy. Like old
Yeah, I'll charge up. Nothing, just figure out how to get out of this app.
Reese's peanut butter cups.
I don't think this is where I wanted to go.
So there's no more pickups from you guys.
You got anything?
Probably not.
I have one. I don't often try to shop. I hate shopping. I just, like I said, creature convenience. I hate shopping. But I got this, imported this from Play Asia. I am a massive Mana fan. This is the Art of Mana for all of the Seiken Densetsu games. And it's beautiful and it's mine. It's hardcover.
Show it off. Yeah, show it off. Put it on the screen.
This is the cover, back.
I have no clue how to get out of this app.
Some art, yeah.
Quitting usually helps.
The only thing is that
Please put Troy. Sorry, please put. Oh damn it! I wanted to put Troy on until you figure out how to get out. Sorry about that.
the only other issue is that it makes me upset because it reminds me of a game that we never got on the Vita, and now I'm trying to figure out if I could play that game on my Vita. I know there's a way that I can play Japanese games on the Vita, but I don't know if it requires me to be online with a Japanese server or not, this game specifically. So while this makes me very happy, it makes me very sad as well, because I will never get to play Rise of Mana, most likely. But yeah.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at the sales today on PlayStation, and Legend of Mana, the PlayStation 1 Classic, is on sale for like $3 Canadian. I might end up picking that up. But there's also the Vita one, Adventures of Mana. What was that one?
Yeah, that's the remake of the very first game. It's like a straight remake though, where all they did was change the graphics. They didn't change anything else. Like, so the game still has the same quote unquote flaws and good things about it. Like it's a straight remake, just or call it more of a repolish, because it's really just new graphics.
Kind of like Lunar Silver Star Harmony versus Silver Star Story, like where they just redo the graphics and everything else is basically the same.
I don't know, because I'm not an expert with the Lunar games, but I thought that each version they tweaked each one in some way.
Yeah, like that one's obviously like more of a retool than what you're talking about, but it sticks basically to the classic concept of it.
Yeah, I mean, so with the Adventures of Mana on the Vita or on your iOS or Android, I love the new graphics to it, but for example, an issue with the original Game Boy game is that, let's say you're in a dungeon and you run out of keys, you're screwed. Because even if you unlock the door, even if you unlock the door to a room, if you go to the next room and you come back, that door is locked all of a sudden. So in the remake, they didn't address that. You'd think they would address at least that. So yeah, it's that kind of remake. They literally only did a graphics upgrade to it. So
Well, that's kind of sucks.
yeah,
Well, if you want a graphics update and a remade game, go get the what is it, Sword of Mana for the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, that's an entire reimagining. Yeah. So yeah, there's 2 remakes for the first game
with 2 different names.
Yes,
making 3 for a total.
but Sword of Mana actually changes. It follows the same story beats, but it changes. It embellishes things. It adds an entire different twist to the upgrade system when you level up. That tries to orient somewhat classes in a way that have certain benefits. It's actually really cool, but the only issue I have with Sword of Mana is that the bosses are so easy because it's so easy to break the game. So they made these awesome changes, but those changes would have been better if they actually also changed the bosses.
Yeah, so it's a give and take.
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing is, as far as the 2 versions, is Sword of Mana is a remake and Adventures of Mana is a remaster.
Basically, yeah.
Like that's like when people argue the difference between a remake and a remaster, that's what it is.
It's like a remake, reimagining more than anything because they do change stuff about it. So yeah.
Yeah,
also, though,
they put a whole new character and storyline in with that.
Yep.
So you have to play the game twice to get the whole story, which always bugs me.
You can play as a boy or as a girl, but also though the sprite art is beautiful in Sword of Mana. They basically take the Legend of Mana art and they put it on a GBA and it's beautiful. So that has that going for it. Legend of Mana, Sword of Mana, and Second and Setsu 3, unofficially called Secret of Mana 2, are the 3 most beautiful games in that series for sprite work.
I should probably finish Secret of Mana first because I've still not finished that thing despite owning it on 2 different platforms now. Well, same platform, different thing, like with the original cart and the SNES Mini. But
I still don't like that game.
Oh really? That's a shame. I love it.
I like Final Fantasy Adventure, which is the first one. Sword of Mana or Secret of Mana, I'm just kind of iffy on. I've yet to play the 3rd one, and I haven't played the rest of the Mana games, but I do have a lot of them. I'll get to them someday.
Yeah. Yeah, the Mana series has an interesting history because it's like a mixing of Final Fantasy and Zelda. That was the whole premise behind it. And funny enough, Chocobos and Moogles were actually introduced in the first Mana game. So, but they're actually part of Final Fantasy now, of course.
Kind of like how the stuff that happened with Super Mario 2, which was Doki Doki Panic. The stuff they introduced in there is now in the main series.
Yeah, and now it's like a staple thing, yeah.
Yeah.
But the creator, so he made the first game on Game Boy, then he made the Secret of Mana, and then they made the second game on the Super Famicom that we never got in the US, which is freaking amazing. It's my favorite game of all time. But then when it got to the next platform, he wanted to create a new style of game every time. So not only did he change the battle system, it's like, oh, this game will be more. This one will be a beat 'em up where you have to, where there's like no real story. It's like all a bunch of stories tying together in some way. And then, oh, let's make a dungeon crawler. Let's make an RTS. So it's like he wanted to create new genres in each new game. So obviously, you're gonna divide your fans that way.
Oh yeah.
True fans want a specific game, So
which one was what was the PS2 one?
That was
Dawn of Mana.
Dawn of Mana.
And you know what's funny? Kingdom Hearts. That was supposed to be a Mana game originally.
I can see it.
Yep. So all you Kingdom Hearts fans, you have the Mana series to thank for because that is basically a Mana game. It was supposed to be a Mana game, but then what happened is that, and for Dawn of Mana, the creator, he fell in love with Half-Life 2 because of the physics engine, the Havoc thing, with the gravity gun or what it's called. So he wanted to make a game that uses that type of technology. So he was fascinated by it.
And that's how Dawn of Mana came apart?
Yeah, because he wanted to with Dawn of Mana. He implemented this mechanic where you have a whip that grapples to things, and you can pull them around and move it around. And so he wanted to make that. So Dawn of Mana has beautiful PS2 graphics, and actually has a pretty cool personal story. But it's locked behind that two annoying things: that annoying physics mechanic that he tried to add in, and that it's no longer an RPG technically. You level up every level that you're in. So every level you're back to level 1. And people hated that. People hated that so much. And I get it. I completely get it. You know? I get it.
Yeah. I was like, you were going on Kingdom Hearts, and then you mentioned Half-Life. I'm like, how the heck did Half-Life into Kingdom Hearts? And then I'm like, oh yeah, Dawn of Mana. That makes much more sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so
it's like you saw me go like, what the?
Yeah,
like, that's why I had to get there.
Yeah, I completely understand, and people's complaints are justified with what the creator wanted to do. But it's still my favorite series. I love the world too much, and the like how Final Fantasy fans, they love like, oh, the Chocobos and the Moogles and Fyra and Faraga. They love those things that makes that world that world.
Mm-hmm.
That's for Mana. I love what makes a Mana game a Mana game. So that's just how I am. So
if you ask me, the Final Fantasy games kind of lost what made them a Final Fantasy game after about the 6th entry. They went back to it in the 9th entry, but after that, they're just kind of not the same.
Like they lost it with 7, and then
yeah, it totally went away with 7. 8 was kind of its own thing too. 9 went back to the medieval fantasy setting, and then after that, they've just been doing sci-fi ever since.
Yeah, I haven't been able to get into any Final Fantasy except for 14, weirdly. But
it's a fantasy MMO. So
yeah, and it's one of the best MMOs I've ever played. Just in concept and gameplay and story, it's just fantastic. It's so smooth. Too bad I don't really have time or interest in playing an MMO anymore. Otherwise, I would be playing it a ton.
15 has a lot of connection to 6, surprisingly.
Huh.
Like in the world design?
And well, no, just, I mean, some of the Magitech and stuff like that. So, I mean, you say it kind of went off the rails at 6. But really, that was the first really like steampunky kind of like slightly more advanced.
Oh yeah, but it still had
they also had castles, though. Yeah, it was still castles and
yeah, it was like kind of like a medieval steampunk type thing.
Like the transition period, I guess, right?
Yeah, like kind of an industrial.
Kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So it was still kind of medieval fantasy wise. Less so than the previous ones, yes. However, at 7, they definitely went a completely different direction.
Yeah, it's like 6 is definitely the transition point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now like
nothing against 7, 8, and 10. Well, 10, 11, or 12, and 13, whatever.
Nothing against the modern games.
Pretty much. I can take either one.
It seems like their fan base in Japan changed, so they follow that fan base going forward. It seems.
Well, that, and if you want hardcore medieval fantasy RPGs, there's always Dragon Quest games that come out.
Yeah, I'm definitely more of a Dragon Quest guy than Final Fantasy.
I have been recently. Like, ever since I found them, I do enjoy the Dragon Quest games more than the later Final Fantasies. But they are super grindy.
Yeah, Dragon Quest is definitely more simplistic gameplay-wise, but they really got that gameplay down.
They haven't changed it for 20 years.
I know, but they got it perfect. Final Fantasy,
by the end of the NES, they had it perfected for the most part.
Except for the grinding element.
Well, yeah, but there was the 80s. Well, 80s, early 90s. They had to put grinding or the game would be 20 minutes, 10 minutes long.
Yeah, my favorite thing about Final Fantasy, like the first one, actually, is how the opening level is the entirety of Dragon Quest.
Yeah, that was kind of a friggin' ha 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 ha.
That was just, like, that's kind of a video game developer burn to such a great degree. I love that. I can't get into the game, but I just love that troll.
The first Final Fantasy game?
Yeah, the first
If you
Final
want to play
Fantasy.
the first Final Fantasy game, my suggestion is the Game Boy Advance port. That's the most player-friendly version of the game, I'd say.
Versus the PSP remake?
The PSP remake, they kind of went back to the old hardcore magic system, didn't they? Where you had like limited uses of each spell and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have to give credit though to the first one because for coming out in the 80s, that was a really original plot idea for the first Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, that they really iterated on what Dragon Quest started. Like Dragon Quest was the first one was super simplistic, and then they took that and it's like we can do more with this. It seems like just from playing the two, it's like that's great, but we can do so much more with this genre, and they just went for it.
Yeah. Oh, you have to remember, Phantasy Star also came out in that period, and Phantasy Star is literally probably the best of the three.
Probably, it's kind of like to do an anime comparison, it would probably be like Dragon Quest is the original Mobile Suit Gundam, Phantasy Star is Macross, and then Final Fantasy is Zeta Gundam, I guess.
I have heard that the Phantasy Star games, when it came to the NES Master System comparison, that the Phantasy Star games were more complex story wise, right?
The Phantasy Star games are excellent.
I don't know, but I'm saying like the story is more quote unquote impressive for the time period, right?
Yeah.
Versus Final Fantasy.
Yeah, is that correct?
Eric, the Phantasy Star expert, would you like to chime in?
Not really, because I don't remember the story for Final Fantasy 1 that well. But look, Phantasy Star, I think, did one thing that was unique for the time, and that was it created your character set with their names and backgrounds and personalities already.
Yep.
Where the original Final Fantasy was a generic group of heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And so from that perspective, I think they did try to create a plot, a more story-based plot for Phantasy Star. But like I said, I really don't remember Final Fantasy 1 that well.
Mm.
And then when you see Final Fantasy 2, now the thing is we have to be very careful about the release dates on these things, because it is my recollection that Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3 all came out in Japan prior to Final Fantasy 1 being released in the U.S.
I believe so, yeah. I think so.
And
yeah.
Final Fantasy 1 wasn't released in the U.S. until like 1990. It's actually a really, to my reckoning, it is kind of a late release game. Only because I consider 90 to be the era of Genesis, because I was following Sega at the time. But Final Fantasy II, the actual Final Fantasy II, did have pre-canned characters too. So I don't know where. I think Final Fantasy I and Phantasy Star came out within a day of each other in Japan in 1987.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't remember all the release dates, but certainly I think Sergio, you were asking me before if you should play the Phantasy Star games, and I think you should, and I think you should try to play them in order because of the way the plots relate to each other. These are not Final Fantasy games; they are not independent. They are very much based on each other.
This is what happened with me. So a few years ago, when I was wanting to fill up my collection, because when I was younger, we sold some games to like half price books or someplace like that, trading games for money. I was like, okay, I'm gonna start getting some of my games back, and then that's when I learned about Phantasy Star, and I've been trying to fill in my RPG backlog. And so I was like, okay, well, everyone says Phantasy Star 4 is like the best in the series, but also like one of the best RPGs ever. I was like, okay. And then I heard how 4 is not a direct sequel to one of the games or something, or it's like a prequel or something. Or
no, 4 is the culmination of the previous 3 games, and it's very important that if it really does tie everything from the previous 3 games together in an important way. So I would 3 is the one that you might be thinking of. 3 is the one that's kind of an aside.
Yeah,
But
You can
even
skip 3.
once you play 3, and then you play 4, you'll understand how all 4 of the games relate to each other. So 4 is by far the best one, and I would love to tell you you should play that one first. But if you're planning on ever playing the others, you should not play 4.
So
Does
my
that make
question
sense?
is, yeah, it does. So my question is, I know that there was like some Sega re-releases on like some collections for like PS2 or something, or PS3, where did they add those games?
There was the Ultimate Genesis collection has all 4 on there, I believe.
And that's
Yep,
for what system?
It does.
Yep.
360 and PS3.
Yeah.
That
I
would
can
be
by
the
far the
suggested way to
best.
play all of them.
Yeah, and it's like you can find that for $20 or less.
Yeah.
And
That's why it's the suggested way.
Yeah, and input lag is not going to affect you as much with a turn-based RPG. Like if you want to play the Sonic games, do not play it on there. It's kind of terrible, but Phantasy Star is going to work. You have to unlock the first one. I don't remember how, but it's not that hard.
Yeah, you have to unlock Phantasy Star 1. But that collection, that Sonic's Ultimate Genesis, is a fantastic. I recommend it to everybody. If you have a PS3 or 360, that's the way to go. Or a PSP. I think they have. No, I'm thinking of something else.
No, the PSP doesn't have all of them on it.
No, that's right.
It does have the collection, but you don't get all the Phantasy Star games.
Yeah.
Because of UMD storage space or some bullshit like that.
That Sonic one for the PS3 or 360 has all of them. It's got all the Streets of Rages. I think the only thing wrong with it is it doesn't. I don't think it has Revenge of Shinobi. No collection has Revenge, except for maybe the Dreamcast.
Yeah, it's just got the one Shinobi as far as the Genesis ones. It does have the arcade one. That's another unlockable.
Oh, yeah.
I can't find on the wiki.
Release any more news about Sega Forever, or are we still in the dark of it?
I don't know anything about it.
Like the whole Sega Forever initiative is supposed to be like a thing where it sounds like they're supposed to be releasing their games as like a service, like either streaming or a monthly service for other devices or modern devices, but they haven't said anything since they announced it. So I was just curious if anyone heard any news.
That's the mobile game thing, right?
Only mobile? Oh.
No, that's the only part I'm familiar with. Or is that the initiative where they're like doing it on Steam as well? I
really am not sure.
Yeah, okay. I kind of tuned out of the Sega Forever thing when I downloaded Comic Zone on my phone, and it didn't go very well. Because those initial releases were awful. They had a lot of lag. But speaking of weird and Sega, I looked up how to unlock Phantasy Star. Apparently, the way you unlock Phantasy Star in that collection is to beat the first boss in Sonic 2 in 2-player.
Yep.
What the hell?
Yeah, what the hell?
I mean, did they assume that people would just play that 2-player automatically, and so that's
I don't know.
I mean, you can just play it in 2-player mode and not move tails.
I think that's what I did. Because I've got it unlocked, but I guarantee I didn't play it 2-player.
Yeah, that's what probably most people end up doing.
Yeah, but it's like you have to have a second controller, but that's really the only downside. So I guess that's how you can choose which system you get it for. If you only have one system with 2 controllers. Between 360 and PS3, it's like, get the one you have 2 controllers for, and then you can get Phantasy Star.
And if you have 2 controllers for both, go with the one that's cheaper.
Yeah, probably 360.
Yeah, it probably is the 360 version.
Yeah.
Don't go the physical route. If you want to go the physical route, the first game will cost you like $60.
Yeah, so just get that collection or download some ROMs.
I have the 4th game physical, and I have this adapter that lets me play Genesis games on my SNES.
That probably does not work so great.
I've played it with Streets of Rage 2. I've played it with Beyond Oasis. I've played it with a few games and it seems fine so far, but I don't play enough Genesis to really tell you.
Well, basically the reason I would say that is the sound emulation's probably all screwed up, and it probably has a couple other issues.
Like in Beyond Oasis, it was pretty bad. So in some games it is, yeah. The sound
Oasis is another game that's on that collection.
Genesis are pretty cheap too. I mean, I got a bunch of them here that I'm, need to kind of get rid of.
Genocide.
Yeah.
Genocide.
And then I have the Genesis release for Pure Solar, that Watermelon Games new RPG game, but
you have that?
Yeah,
wow.
But apparently you can only play that on a legit Model 1 Genesis or something like that. Like if you try to play it on anything that's not legit, it like messes up the game.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure you can play it on a Model 2 though. I don't know why they would make it so you couldn't.
No, they didn't mean to. It was like people discovered that it didn't work with like Model 3 or something.
The Model 3 it makes sense because the Model 3 is not a real Genesis, really. It's basically like a modern clone system with official Sega marketing. Sega really had very little to do with making that, if I remember correctly.
What about a
Or
CDX?
But
CDX is also weird. Sega made a lot of really weird hardware decisions.
Well,
any new hardware manufacturer should go, look at a bunch of Sega consoles to learn how not to make video game consoles.
Q-Dog.
Yes.
So, backtracking to Pure Solar, I haven't played it yet, obviously, but I was thinking of just playing it on the PS4 anyway. Do you want it?
No, I don't know. No, wait, it's available on PS4?
Yeah,
as digital download.
You can also get it on the Wii U if you prefer.
Okay, yeah, I knew that was.
Yeah, the physical is like I have a physical of the Genesis. Is all I mean.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I've thought about it, but to be honest with you, the reason I don't have it is because I don't want to pay what it's worth. So.
Oh well, I was talking about trading or just giving it to you.
No, I can't. I certainly can't accept it as just a gift. I don't know what I've got to trade. You might be better off just trying to find someone. But I mean, you have it in the box? Do you have it complete or?
Yeah, I traded Undertale complete in box to Miles for a really good deal apparently. So it's whatever.
Yeah, do the good deal dance.
All right, let's talk on Twitter or something, and I'll see maybe we can work something out. I don't know. I don't know how interested I am in the game, to be honest with you, but we can chat about it.
I'm gonna be right back-ish.
Sure.
So we have to make sure he does a good deal dance when he gets back.
That's a good deal.
Oh, that video is so funny.
He makes pickup videos hard to follow. Like
I know.
It's hard to follow his act.
I'm throwing in the towel. I'm done. Between him and Joe and Bill, forget it. I'm done.
Well, Joe is just like an endless. He's just his.
I need to know.
Money.
I need to know. I need to know the background to that whole thing. Seriously.
Wait, he has a sack of money.
Duh.
The Square stuff, the recent RPG one you're talking about, Musty?
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Something.
Where did he get all that?
He's got a lot of collections. He's got a lot of collections because he's got a loose CD collection going now where he throws away the discs. He's got a cassette, unused cassette collection.
That seemed very un-Joe. He throws away the cases.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't sound like him at all.
He's a binder
binders.
He's a binder whore.
He's a binder. That's right.
He said whore. His words. He's a binder whore. He's got a VHS collection. He's got a.
Yeah, he collects. And he's got a Lord of the Rings different book printings collection.
Shit. Okay,
I don't have that.
I forgot. It's the reprint edition.
Yeah. Okay.
Not the first one, but it's still complete with all the doodads in the case. This clamshell case. Color. The stickers are still there and everything.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you look? Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like I said, I was in a phase where I wanted all these things physical, and now I just don't care quite as much.
Yep.
So now, if I end up playing the game on the PS4 and loving it, then who knows what will happen?
Maybe you should play it first. Yeah. I'm in no rush.
So.
Give it a try. I don't know. It's up to you. Give it a try, and if you don't like it, let me know. And
yeah, they HDified it for the PS4 and PC and all those releases.
Yeah,
Okay.
they have it's basically the Dreamcast version is the PS4 version, but they give the option for original or updated sprites.
Well, I've played through the entire game, so
You have?
played through the Wii U version. It's pretty good.
Oh.
There's some parts that are just kind of like, but I felt they could have done a little bit more in like battle variety, but overall the game is good. So,
okay.
It does harken back a lot to like 16-bit JRPG mechanics though, that are very Genesis in nature. So if you're not ready for that up front, it's kind of like offset pudding if all you've done is played modern RPGs. But if you're used to playing old school RPGs, you should feel right at home with it.
Yeah, I'm usually good about being able to quote unquote time travel back in my mind to be able to deal with that. The only game that I had trouble was that eventually, and I stress eventually, like halfway through, I got tired of Earthbound's mechanics because Earthbound is an SNES game that basically had NES Dragon Quest mechanics.
Yeah. So I love Earthbound. Earthbound is one of my favorite RPGs.
No, but I'm just saying, but like even when the game came out,
it was dated.
It was already dated.
Yeah, I know.
The mechanics, yeah.
So I'm quite aware.
Yeah. So
I'm quite aware of how dated the game is.
Yeah, so I enjoyed the first half way more than the second half personally. Because eventually I got tired of that. But I did finish it though. I finished it. So
yeah, but it just got a little tiring because of the dated nature of it for when it came out.
Largely the inventory system, how it's so limited.
Yeah, I could see that. I can see why that annoys people.
Very charming RPG though. Very quirky. Very clever final boss fight, and the ending is very, very clever too.
Dude, I decided, what was it? I remember fighting that boss for like 2 or 3 hours as a kid, or me and my brother sitting there fighting the boss for like 2 or 3 hours, and then we figured it out and went, "What the?"
Yeah, it's interesting.
You're like, really, of all the things you have to do to beat that boss.
Yeah.
I'm going to backtrack a little bit just while we're still on RPGs because I mentioned as a comparative during the Secret of Mana thing, the Lunar remake on PSP. If you haven't played that, play that. It's so good.
So I've played Lunar Legend on the GBA, and I played a little bit of the PSP remake. I want to replay it again, but I want to replay. I think I want to play the PS1 version because that's the closest to the original version, right?
No,
yeah, but the PSP version has such good remade graphics on it, and it's so smooth.
What, Lunar games? My suggestion is to go back and play the Sega CD versions if you're really hardcore.
That's the thing. I don't have a single. the only console I have is a Dreamcast. So
the voice acting and graphics on those are so bad compared to Harmony. I'm sorry, it just does not hold up graphically.
Like it doesn't matter. It's still better.
Like I've considered getting a Saturn with that RAM thing so I could play imports easily. But to get a Sega CD only for a few of the games, I don't know. I'd have to be like walking by, find it, and buy. I don't know when. Just because I'm not a passionate fan about that, so I don't know.
Worth it.
Is the PSP
Sega CD is awesome. Everybody should have a Sega CD.
Is the PSP version of Lunar the remake of the first game?
It's
not a unique game. It's a remake of the first.
Yeah, it's like the third or fourth remake of Story, but it's
the GBA one though is different, but it's a remake, but they like shortened it and they changed a few things.
Let me just put it this way: as far as Lunar games go, do not ever play the DS game. That doesn't exist.
Okay, I was going to ask.
Not a real Lunar game. Stay away.
That
is a game where if you want to run, your health will go down.
Okay. I think that's all that needs to be said on that. Go on.
Okay.
Just to start, you have to choose between getting EXP or getting items as far as monsters go.
Yeah.
battles go. It has a bunch of broken mechanics. Stay the hell away from the DS game.
Is it a unique game? It's not a remake of the first one either.
That's one of the few unique games in the series. There are basically 3 or 4 unique games.
Okay.
The 3 unique games worth playing are Lunar Silver Star, Lunar Eternal Blue, and I think there's also a Magic School game that came out for the Game Gear. Though you will have to go get a ROM of that to play it. Because I've still yet to see any Game Gear repro carts.
Okay. Lunar Legend for the Game Boy Advance, that's just a remake, is that what you said?
Yes. The majority of Lunar games out are remakes of Silver Star.
Yeah. Apparently I don't have the DS one. I'm surprised by that.
Don't bother buying it.
I guess I won't. I thought I already had it, to be honest with you.
Unless you have to have all the Lunar games, don't buy it.
No, I don't.
It was the first Lunar game I bought. It almost turned me off the series altogether.
Oh. No, the first one I bought was PlayStation.
Yeah, but Yoshi, just to clarify, when I said like why go back to the Sega CD one versus the PSP one, and I mentioned the graphics, I'm not just coming from it graphically. I think that game plays really well too. So I don't see like why like there could be any real improvements gameplay wise by going back.
I personally didn't like the PSP graphics because of the. So here's the it's the artist in me because I draw. There's not anymore really, but still. Point is, I have a background of an artist. Point is,
okay.
So my issue is that the sprites, the outline, is sloppy in my opinion.
It's a little bit sloppy, yeah.
And that ruins it for me, kind of. Sorry.
I can see that, but like compare that graphically to the Sega CD one, it's still a bit of an improvement, in my opinion. But I just think that game comes together really in terms of charm. Like the graphics align with the story and the animated cutscenes, and the voice acting is better, and that kind of thing. On top of the solid gameplay, I think that just makes it superior overall.
Well, the reason I always say to go back to the original Sega CD version is because I believe that's one of the only ones that actually have the enemies on the battlefield, or I think it's random encounters. So it's basically more old school RPG than most of the other ones, and the other ones they kind of like.
I guess
simpler.
Yeah, they made it. Not so much made it simpler, but they changed mechanics just a little bit. It's not exactly bad, but it's not. I didn't like it as much. Also, playing the Sega CD version, you really do get quite a good appreciation for what they managed to do with the Sega CD console.
Yeah, but that's like kind of a history lesson, in my opinion. Like, it's cool to go back, but if you're going to play it just to enjoy it for the sake of enjoying it, the PSP is probably still your better bet. For a modern sense, like. I understand, and I would go back to the Sega CD to experience it for a historical perspective to see what they pulled off originally. But if you just want to go in and play a fun RPG and get decent graphics and a good story, the PSP one's like the most updated out of it. It's got all the PS1 cutscenes. It's got better, I think it's either got the same or better voice acting. I can't remember if they re-recorded the voices. Like, for example, go ahead.
Sorry, no,
that's fine. Go ahead. I was just gonna say, like, it was either the Sega CD or the PlayStation version of Null, whichever one that had. Did the Sega CD have voices?
Yes.
Okay, then that original version of Null is insufferable. It is impossible to just take Null's voice in that one. The little dragon guy,
I didn't mind it.
Pet. Okay.
Isn't Lunar the inspiration for Pure Solar, like style-wise, like gameplay-wise?
I could see that. I'm not that familiar with Pure Solar, but I could totally see that being the inspiration.
One of, at least, probably.
Yeah, an inspiration for it.
All right, I'm going to go a little esoteric here. One of the because this is a site I used to follow. Some of the guys that are responsible for Pure Solar are from a site, and I'm going to pronounce it wrong. Apparently, it's pronounced Eidolon. Do you guys know this word?
Yeah, from Final Fantasy. From Final Fantasy 9.
Yeah, how do you pronounce it?
I thought it was Eidolon, but I think
Eidolon. And anyway, there's a website. It used to be an emulation website focusing on Sega, and it's called Eidolon's Inn. And one of the main guys there, his handle name at the time was the bad guy from Lunar 1?
The elf dude. Oops.
Trying to remember.
I forget his name. If you said his name, I don't.
One of the few spoilers in that entire game.
Sorry.
Anyway, so I think so. Okay, so all of that is to say, there is a very tenuous connection because I think the guys associated with were big Lunar fans, based on some of the people that were there and their handles at the time. And I am pretty sure that that game is associated with that website and the people that that managed that. They were big emulation and big into Lunar, and I don't know where they got the name from. And I seem to recall they had a shining in the darkness GIF header graphic for the longest time. But anyway, so maybe that's some evidence that yes, they were big. They were possibly inspired by the Lunar games.
Nice.
Okay, that's all.
Hey Yoshi.
Yes.
Have you played the fan-made Mother 4 game? It's like really polished, apparently.
Is that out?
I think it's out on the website for free. I should hear it out. I'm pretty sure it's out and it's like really polished. Like you would think it was like a legit Mother game from what I've heard. Because those fans are, you Mother fans are passionate. So
yeah, but I haven't.
Uh-oh.
Just a fan-made game, blah blah blah. Yeah, but where do you download it?
couldn't tell you. I haven't.
The internet.
I've seen.
I'm looking on the internet.
Yeah, I really need to play Lunar 2, but I need to track down a PS1 copy because I think that's the either first or last version of it for that one that came out.
I recall seeing Lunar 1 and 2
version that came out
in the store so many times when I was younger when it came out, but I wasn't into RPGs yet, and so I always wanted to buy them just because they had really cool big boxes. But
yeah,
I just was not into RPGs, so it's a shame.
I think you're right about the PS1 version, Fitman. I think there were only 2 versions of that game.
There were. They just keep re-releasing the
first one.
What is it?
The
first one, and they don't bother to do much of anything with the second one.
Yeah, it's Sega CD and PS1. I think it's only saying CD here, but I feel like it came out on. Maybe that's just the original version. I have no idea.
I'm sorry. What is your lookup saying?
It's only showing me Sega CD.
No, it's definitely on the PlayStation because I played it on the PlayStation.
Yeah, Lunar is weird.
Lunar
there it is.
2, Eternal Blue, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
ported to PlayStation. There we go.
Yeah.
Eternal Blue complete.
There's only like 3 reasons why I haven't pursued the Sega CD. One, I'm just not a huge. I'm just not a huge fan of all the games in the library. So. Also,
yeah, Mother 4 still isn't out.
Oh, really?
By the way.
I thought
you still cannot download it.
Sorry, man.
Unless they put a download page up. I would have gotten an email.
The other reason is just the fact that because I'm not a passionate fan. I don't want to deal with the hassle. What if I get a Sega CD that doesn't properly work? Because I've heard how they don't all still work, the actual device. So I don't want to go through the hassle of getting it maintained. And then lastly, I don't want to rearrange my space. So
creature of convenience.
Yeah. Basically.
But I think there might be a ulterior motive in Yoshi recommending the Sega CD. How many of those do you still have left over from your modding?
Not very many. Anyway.
Not very many, but some.
None at the moment. No, I just get them to have to fix. That's what I end up having to do with Sega CDs is fix them.
Okay.
And I'm getting sick of seeing Sega CDs. But
I'm somewhat past that phase of wanting to hunt down old games. Now I'm trying to play my old games. So it's like I've made my list. Now to actually cross them off.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I keep buying more old games. I haven't bought many recently though.
It's a slippery slope.
The vast majority of my like classic game acquisitions, I think, have been like Cartridge Club stuff, like getting them from other members of the community. I haven't gotten that many, but like, I think that's the most like recent stuff. What was the last one I bought? Wii's not that old, so that doesn't really count. Vita is the most obscure thing, and I got that from Kevin. Even though that's semi-recent still, like still new games coming out, that's still kind of off to the side.
I don't know.
That was a big purchase, but
most of those Vita games have been like not coming out for Vita and have been coming out for Switch instead recently.
That makes sense.
Which I don't blame the developers. The Switch is selling like hotcakes, and it's pretty much the best handheld console on the market.
Yeah, the Switch is selling like hotcakes, and the Vita was almost never marketed by Sony.
Yeah. And they both fill a similar role.
Yeah. Speaking of getting a system for only a few games, including an RPG, thanks Ease Memories of Celceta.
Yeah.
Basically the sole reason I want that console.
Really?
No,
so you
like,
can play that wherever?
I do. What?
So you can play Ease wherever you want? You can get Ease 8 in other places, you know.
Ease Memories of Celceta, the remake of 4. That's the only place you can get it. You can even get it on PC.
Oh, Vita.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I do have 8 on PS4.
See, I'm waiting to play 8 till I get it on the Switch.
That's fine.
You can't get Celceta on PC?
No.
Really? Okay.
Weird.
It's only on Vita.
I'm still mad at myself that for some reason I just can't get into the East games. I love action RPGs. I wish that I could get into it.
Which ones have you played? Just curious.
1 and 2 Chronicles, 7. I think Celceta.
See, to really experience 1 and 2 properly, you have to go back and play the Turbo Duo version.
How many?
I have a modded PC engine.
It's a disc game.
I know. I'm just saying. I have a modded PC engine if I can get that on.
Or you can just download a ROM of it.
That's the recommended pathway. Is just to download a ROM.
Yeah, I have
it on a flash card. Flash cube card.
I might download a ROM of that just to see how it plays originally, because I have the PC version of it and I played a little bit of that. It's pretty fun. But like it does have that dated combat where you basically just run into things.
Yeah.
But you've played a couple of the more modern ones, so I guess it's just not your thing for the series, which is fine.
The modern ones are different.
Well, no, my issue is the same though for modern and old. I found from my playthroughs, and I've mentioned on the forums before, like it's always slow golds and XP per monster that you kill, and it's always like only 4 weapon upgrades that you see from the very beginning. That just doesn't excite me. The first boss you can usually fight right away, but then the next few bosses or about third boss, you have to suddenly grind a ton before you can fight them. Otherwise, you're screwed. Like the pacing for me is just ruined. So
it's a very, very old school series.
Yeah, it's like you really have to be into the grind for the gameplay on that. So
and that's the thing.
I agree.
It's an action RPG, so the grind should be fine. But I don't enjoy grinding in that game for some reason. I don't know. I hate myself for it because I love action RPGs the most.
Yeah, I totally understand not getting into that series. It's like it either clicks or it doesn't, and if it doesn't, it's just you'll be smashing your head against the wall the entire time. I totally get it. But Ease is kind of simplistic, just conceptually and setup wise. Like the story is like always Adol getting onto an island and then you have to help the island people, and you go grind and fight monsters, and it's virtually identical for every single release.
Actually, the furthest that I got was 5 because it was the most different from the series.
The only one to not have an official English release.
Yes,
is the one you like the most.
No. No. That game to me is that my grading system. That game is an F. No. That game's not good. I'm just saying I got the furthest of that game though.
Okay,
but that's because it's more like a, huh? Oh, it's because the 5th one. Still. For me, the 5th one is more like a pure Zelda clone, a little way, in a few ways. So that makes it more manageable. But my issue with that was that
there's also multiple versions of the 5th game. So
what, like 2?
Yeah,
there's like the original like Super Nintendo or Super Famicom, and then there's the PS2 version, right?
Something like that.
I played the original translated version, so the Super Famicom.
What's the 5th game called?
No, it's the 4th one that has multiple versions. It's
the
5th
4th
one that was just on the Super.
Yeah, the 4th one has 2 different unique releases on the Famicom, and then there's the Vita remake.
Yeah,
it's weird.
And they're all 3 different, aren't they?
But and I think like a couple of the other ones are like non-canon.
Yeah, so I'm referring to the 5th one.
Actually, the 4th one has a release on the Turbo Duo that never came out over here.
I have that.
Of course you do.
No, I bought it at PRG. It's a import East 4 game, right? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
It's non-canonical though now because Salsetta replaced it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They replaced most of the series though. So.
Yeah.
Wait, the 5th game is the one that I meant, like the actual 5th one. So
what's that one called?
Like Ys 5 Kethin Lost Kingdom of Sand or something.
And that was never released in the States?
Yeah.
Nope. It's the only one it's the only one you cannot get a version of here.
So if I go to Steam or wherever these things are, they've been released on PC, so I can get
for the most part
1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Are they all available on Steam except for 4 and 5?
That's right. I don't think 8 is out yet, but 7 came out recently. But yeah, pretty much other than that. Also,
8's the most recent one, right? Lacrimosa of Dana or whatever it's called. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Also, 6 is ideally played on PC because it just looks better, it plays better versus the PS2 version and especially the PSP version. But
is that the Napishtim thing?
Yeah, Napishtim, the one.
I played that one too.
The impossible to pronounce game.
Dude, you played more East games than I have, and I like the series.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Yeah,
well, maybe that's why. I don't know. I've only played East 1, and I keep buying the games.
Napishtim's the one that got me into it, and I beat it. So it's awesome, but the voice acting is terrible in that game, which is why I recommend the PC one, because it has no voice acting in it, which is a huge improvement.
Is that right? That's funny.
Yeah. It also looks and plays better, but it's like you get the key benefit of no voice acting whatsoever.
That's weird. Did it come out first or second?
My voice acting is better than English voice acting.
See, I don't know if it's because of growing up with American cartoons. I don't get as annoyed with English voice acting as most fans do. I don't know. I've always been fine with it.
Yeah, Napishtim
I prefer. I'd rather have bad English voice acting than any Japanese voice acting.
See, I'd rather have Japanese voice English voice acting in my games.
Yeah.
If the game is originally had Japanese audio, that's what I want.
No.
If the game originally had English audio, that's what I want.
Generally,
I feel like it depends if you're. It seems like typically fans who also like manga and anime typically prefer the dub. Is that right? Versus sub.
Japanese.
No, they prefer the sub.
Yeah.
Sub versus dub. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That seems to be the norm.
I got in with dubs, and then I started watching subtitled stuff with Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood in 2009, and then I just got used to it, and I prefer it. But there are some good dubs. But as far as Arc of Napishtim, I'm actually not sure if there was voice acting in the Japanese version or the PS2 version. But the PS2 is the original version of that. And there was a PSP version that didn't have voice acting regardless of anything, but it also played terribly. So you kind of get the best of both worlds by going PC. But you get the better gameplay and performance and visuals, but you also don't have to deal with the English voice acting. If there was Japanese voice acting and it was good, that kind of sucks that it's not in the PC version. but none is better than the English.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
The biggest issue or reason most people that I know don't like the English voice acting in most anime-styled games is because it always just comes off as super, super cheesy. Way more cheesy than the original Japanese dub.
Yeah,
because of how dramatic they're trying to be.
That, and also it's like usually very cheaply done, or the actors aren't very good, or the translation's bad. It's always some other factor other than it just being in English. If it was in English and well performed with good actors and a good translation, have at her. Great, fantastic. Like
Nintendo's not good at doing that.
No, which is why like a lot of anime fans will like default to the English version for Cowboy Bebop because that dub is fantastic. But like that's one of the outliers. Like the vast majority of English dubs of anime and RPGs are just bad, or at the very least mediocre.
That infamous Gundam Wing scene with Hiro Yui, I will kill you.
I will kill you. And it doesn't even sound that masculine. I went Metal Gear with that. I'm D. But yeah, Gundam Wing has other problems other than its dub. But hoy.
Hey, I like Gundam Wing. Somewhat.
I don't know, dude. I like it too. It's Gundam Wing is like the Final Fantasy of the Gundam Wing series. Final Fantasy 7 of that series. Like a lot of fans got attached because of how flashy and cool Gundam Wing is. But
yeah, my thing. Sorry, go ahead.
The actual plot, there's some pretty weird shit though, and some ridiculous monologues.
And the animation is so bad. Other than the robot fights, like I tried to watch. Like, granted, I did not get that very far in on my last rewatch, but it just seems very flawed on a rewatch. But my favorite part of the first episode, other than Hiro Yui tearing up a birthday invitation and saying "I'll kill you" and walking away just for no good reason.
Yeah.
I'd be looking just like, what the hell? but
it's worse because like he doesn't even say it. He's like, "I'll kill you." Like he's not even like trying to like threaten her. It's like saying it normal. It's like, "I'll kill you." Yeah. It's like, did we have a conversation that I missed here? It's
she's like, "What just happened?" And so does the audience. It's like, what? The context here, I need it.
But yeah,
my favorite part of that first episode is they're in this rich school, so there's the horse riding class.
Yeah,
and you hear like horses running around and neighing and all that, but it's a still frame being panned across. So it's like you hear horses moving, but the horses aren't moving. Nothing's moving. You're just panning across a still frame with horse sounds over it. It's fucking priceless.
Yeah, in that series though, I was a sucker for Death Scythe, so that was beautiful.
The Gundam designs are fantastic. I really liked it as a kid, especially since like I couldn't really watch it in Canada, but whenever I'd go visit relatives in the US, I'd always find it and watch it.
The story though in Mobile Fighter G Gundam, whatever it's called, where they actually like physically fight in the like think a la Pacific Rim almost, only it's one fighter.
I went right to Pacific Rim, except I had never made that connection until just now.
Yeah, like that one, the story's even more silly, but it's still like the fighting is cool.
Yeah, it's like fun cheesy, cool, rather than Gundam Wing, which is just weird and cheap.
Yeah.
Weird and cheap for Gundam Wing.
Yeah, it has great opening. It has great music and Gundam designs and all that, but it just as a show overall.
It has one of the best fighting games of all time, though.
Yes, I was just about to mention that.
Gundam Wing Famicom. Yes, Endless Duel. Oh my god!
I got that from Rambox. I had him send me a copy of that.
I adore that fighting game.
That game is fantastic. It's probably one of the early examples of like air combat and like juggle combos.
It's the same. It's the same Natsume team that made that Gundam Wing, that Power Ranger fighting.
Yeah, Power Rangers Fighting Edition. That is like
with the Zords.
Yeah, they made the Fighting Edition game, and then they took that engine and they made Gundam Wing, which is much better.
Which is so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
it so irks me when you look back at like the anime games that came out, and especially fighting games. We didn't get any of the Dragon Ball fighting games because that wasn't the thing right here. But the thing that irks me is we didn't get that Gundam game, but we got Ranma 1/2.
Yeah.
What, Hard Battle?
Yeah, the Ranma 1/2 fighting game. It's like, who wanted that?
And to top that off, they changed the cover art for the Ranma 1/2 art game into some butchered bullshit. Go look at the cover art for that game, and then go look at the art for the series, and you're like, what the hell? Why'd they try to make this westernized? As if it wasn't going to sell like shit regardless.
Yeah, out of all the Super Famicom Dragon Ball Z Fighter games, there's one in particular that's like actually like really legit. And until the newest game that just came out, it was probably the best 2D fighter for Dragon Ball. I'm trying to think of the name of it.
Oh god, that box art is really strange.
You looked it up, didn't you?
Oh yeah, Dragon Ball Z Hyperdimension. That's the best Super Famicom Dragon Ball fighter.
Oh, did I mention that I found out that Mother 4 is changing its name?
Really? To what?
Earthbound 3? I don't know.
No, they're probably going to change it to something completely unrelated to Mother or Earthbound or anything like that.
That way they can keep it.
Yeah, because they noticed a bunch of projects have been getting DMCA takedown notices for whatever reason.
Makes sense.
So I'm just going to screen share this.
That's good for them because that's a really impressive portfolio.
That's the difference you're talking about?
Yes. Yes.
God, I'm just going to zoom in on that. Why? And then it's just like that. Sorry, I'm probably getting really weird here, but the Famicom box art is fine.
Yep. That looks like the show.
Yeah, I just never knew that was a thing. Okay. Side tangent over with that, I guess.
All right, guys, I got to take off.
Yeah,
all right, thanks for the chat. Take care.
Have fun, everyone.
Yep.
See you next week.
Bye.
Oh shoot.
Do we have much to go with, or is this an early end?
I was gonna say, I mean,
up to you guys.
If you guys want to keep chatting, you can. I mean, I got this cold too, so I'm kind of.
When's the move?
We are listing Friday. We have a place. We have an offer accepted on a place, but we don't know when the closing date is yet because we need to get a firm buyer on our place to then establish when when all the closing date comes into play. But we have a place. It's going to give me exactly what I need for like it's almost going to be like a little studio for me. It's going to be great. Like podcasting space, plus it'll be my like when I'm gaming, that'll be my retreat down there. It's gonna be awesome. But yeah, you guys are. I mean, the Hangout stays open. It's just a matter of whether I cut the broadcast on it. So if you guys want to keep talking, by all means, go for it. I'm wearing thin and I don't have a ton to contribute.
Yeah. You know what I love?
Xbox.
When you're fighting and it has the ability to, completely regenerate all of its health and raise itself up 10 levels.
What happened?
I will say that Ranma 1/2 game, I had that one on the Super Nintendo. Briefly.
I have a copy of it. It's not very good.
No.
It's not very good, but I picked up that Street Combat and Zombies Ate My Neighbors for $5. I've since made back 7-fold my money, I think, on that. if not more, but.
And I just killed it. Yay.
Huzzah.
What are you playing?
Probably
Xenoblade 2.
Oh. Playing my SNES Classic right now.
Nice. Not any games on it. You're just going flipping through you're just playing the console.
Yeah.
Best music ever.
Close.
Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Anyway. I'll be right back, but if the broadcast ends by the time I return, bye. Yeah. I'll be back regardless.
Oh, I'll probably be sitting here. I have nothing better to do other than play Xenoblade. Well, I have other things to do, but
yeah.
Xenoblade's more important. Where do I have to go next? Land of Morthia? Or Spirit Crucible Ellipses?
Oh, I hate this boss fight so much.
Runaway Train.